The internet architecture. Now, internet is the most popular network we know. What is the architecture? That means how it is organized. What is the arrangement? This is what we are going to look at. What are the different levels? High level overview is shown here. And we'll start with the house. Just assume that you are sitting at your house and you want to connect to the internet. How does it work? How does internet architecture work? So starting with a computer at your home, this is connected to an ISP. ISP is nothing but internet service provider from where you have taken the internet and you are paying for it, right? So ISP is the internet service provider whom you pay for the services. Now once you get connected, this will allow you to exchange the packet with all other accessible hosts or the computers or the different computing device on the internet, right? So we'll see one by one. First thing is how to connect. What is the infrastructure? What is the background backbone you are going to use? There are multiple ways. The most common method for connecting to the internet from your home is using the cable television infrastructure, or you can say sending signals. So this cable network is called as hybrid fiber coaxial network. So this is already a single integrated infrastructure, and this is already using a packet based transport. And what is that packet based transport? DOCSIS. DOCSIS is data over cable service interface specification, and this is employed for variety of data services. There are the multiple data services. For example, you are watching television, high speed data and voice also. Now the device at your home and at your house is called what? It is called cable modem, and the device at the cable head end, that is the end of the cable from your house to any junction point, is called as cable head end, and this is called as CMTS because where it terminates there, cable modem termination system, CMTS, right? Let me tell you again, cable modem from your house, at your house, and CMTS at the cable modem termination system. Now here a word has come, modem. What is a modem? Modem is a short for modulator, demodulator. Mo is taken from left, dem is taken from right. Basically, it's analog to digital conversion. Telephone line is analog. Computer is totally digital. So in order to send the digital data through the telephone lines, you need a conversion from digital to analog. For that, you need modem. So digital to analog is converted by modulation, demodulation. And same thing is done on the other end, because analog is coming, you need to convert it into digital. That is done by modem. If you talk about DOCSIS, the latest standard is 3.1. This is full duplex and the data rates goes up to 10 Gbps. Okay, this is the one way cable television infrastructure. Now, what are the other ways? How are you going to connect to the internet from your home? One is cable television infrastructure. The second can be FTTH, fiber to the home. That is actual laying down of the fiber cable till your home. Okay. So these are different ways. Once you are connected from your home to the ISP, now you can move packets. Okay. Now ISP is the company to which you are paying. What is point of presence? See, the location or the entry point which customer packets enter to the ISP network for service. This is ISP's point of presence. See, internet service provider or ISP has a network. The location where your packet will enter, that is your point of presence, POP. This is what I am showing, POP. See here also, these are different POPs, and these POP you are connecting from here. Here your packets will enter. After this, right now, the system is fully digital and it is packet switched. Now ISP comes in various geographical, you can say, extent. It can be regional, like a city. It can be national. It can be whole country, and it can also be international. So here we are trying to show the actual backbone and why these vertical lines are there, because this is over it. It is serving all these below it. Now their architecture, this ISP architecture, this includes long distance transmission lines, and we need some interconnection of the devices, and that are called routers at POPs. And these routers, they help these different cities so that the ISP can serve. And this equipment, or this whole scenario, is called as the backbone of the ISP. Now you see here, if the packet, the destination is for a host and it is directly served by the ISP, then what will happen? We have a backbone. So the packet will be simply routed, or it will given the path, and it will be delivered. Okay. If the packet destination is for a host which is also served by ISP, no problem. It will be directly served. What will happen if it is otherwise? It has to be handed over to another ISP. See, you are here. You are here. Now you are sending it to a host, and that host is also on the same ISP or served by the same ISP. The packet will be delivered. But if the case is otherwise, it has to be handed over to some other internet service provider that may not be your service provider from which you have taken the service. Right? Okay. So these are the ways this backbone works. So there are different ISPs by different companies. What is the next level? ISP connect their network. ISP have their own network, and they now connect their network to the exchange traffic in order to exchange the data and traffic to IXPs, Internet Exchange Points. The different ISPs, they are connecting through Internet Exchange Point. If you see here, we wanted to show 4 ISPs. These are all ISPs, and they are exchanging data through what? Through Internet Exchange Point. And what are there? It just has IXP already has router. Router is all about routing the data. If the ISPs are friends, that is one ISP, other ISP are friends, that is they are peer, then we will have different overlapping this area. Okay, many this connected ISPs, they are called peer with each other, with many ISPs in cities around the world, overlapping geographically. This is the overlapping area. So you need to understand only one thing. The ISP is connected, all are connected to IXP, and IXP is nothing but full of routers, a big building containing only routers, and every router is for one ISP at least. Now this IXP has a very fast optical LAN. All the routers are connected like this. And why this we have fast optical LAN? Because the packets has to be forwarded from any ISP backbone to any other. So this is a picture of Amsterdam Internet Exchange. This is one of the largest IXPs, which is Amsterdam Internet Exchange, AMS-IX. And let me tell you, more than 800 ISPs are connecting, and the data exchange is humongous. 4 terabits, it has increased every second. Imagine this. And the path of the packet, a packet takes through the internet, it depends on a peering choice. If ISPs are peer, they are friends, then it will go directly, no problem. Otherwise, it has to go through some transit network. ISP deliver directly to peer ISP, otherwise there has to be an in-between transit provider. So there are different ways, different paths, 2 paths. ISP, ISP peer, ISP, ISP friend, directly routing, ISP, ISP not friend. In between you need to have a transit. There are different tiers in architecture. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. So we have in Tier 1 strong, giant transit providers. For example, AT&T, level 3. As I'm saying, ISP, if they are not peering, they are not friends, or they don't have any treaty or contract, they have to go through a transit provider. So there has to be everywhere you need to have a transit. So this is the tier 1 companies which are providing this. They are actually called tier 1. As I said, AT&T and level 3, they are providing the backbone network for the internet internationally, and they have thousands of routers with high bandwidth fiber optic links. Let me tell you about the companies Facebook and Netflix. These are a lot of contents providing. So they locate their servers in the data centers. So let me show you a picture here. The installation of this kind, a data center, this kind of installation is called as a server farm. Server farm. Okay. This picture you see, this is Google data center at Dallas, Oregon. And since this data center uses humongous electricity, so this data center is situated just on the bank of Columbia River, so that they can easily get cheap green electric power. This river is Columbia River. This place is Dallas, Oregon. And who owns it? Google. Okay. Now this is the actual picture. Traditional, conventionally it was, but it has changed. So let us go to the conventionally what we have learned. But I have to tell you it has changed. So we have national backbone operators. For example, a country like India, we have backbone providers. This is regional access provider like the states. So we have regional ISP. And then we have local access providers like the cities, ISP1 till ISP, whatever companies we have. And see here, there are two lines. One is the direct line, one is the dotted line. So if peering is there, you don't need a transit network. Otherwise, you need a transit network. So this is how different layers are there, different tiers are there, and this is the conventional or traditional organization of the internet architecture. But the things have changed. You know about Google, you know about Netflix, Amazon, etc. It has changed. Because over the past 10 years or decade, the hierarchy has evolved and it has flattened because of the rise of the hyper giant, the big content providers like the Googles, Netflix, Twitch, Amazon. Also the globally distributed CDNs, okay, content delivery network like the Akamai, like Limelight, Cloudflare. So just see here, the tiering and the architecture has changed because we have large content consumer hosting CDNs. Okay, a kind of tiering has changed and some flattening has been done.